Hey everybody, welcome back to another Slime Fun filled episode with your host Boomer, and today we are talking blaze grinding. We are talking really two projects going on at once. I just finished adding these blaze spawners into what was a wither skeleton grinder. I don't know if I necessarily want the sword to be heading right now, but anyways, I've got two projects going at once. One is to get the light expansion unlocked completely. And I spent, after I did that dust extractor versus the fabricator episode, I went to my skeleton grinders and I sat there for 5.5 hours doing this. Killing skeletons, getting XP. And I got down to 5 items in a guide, and when I added up the total number of levels, it was 645 levels to unlock the last 5 items. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not going to sit in front of skeletons, or for that matter, blaze, to try to completely unlock 645 levels. So I decided to go ahead and put the blaze in here to at least give me a little bit better XP, because you get double the XP of a blaze than you do a skeleton. I don't have anything I can pull out. This is getting that after essence. Well, apparently I didn't clear everything out right, but I do need blaze rods. But from here I can grind for higher XP than I can for skeletons. I do have 2 other things working, actually 3 other things working for me. From the quarry, the iron ore and gold ore that comes up is going to 2 different furnaces that I'm able to pull the XP out of, and I do that a couple of times a day. The other one, I built a massive cactus farm. It's 768 cactus plants going into a carbonado furnace, and you'll get to see that on the next episode, because I'm not going back there until I get these last 5 items unlocked. Now, I'm not going to sit here in front of this all day long, but again, you know, especially when I need it, this will get me started, but I need to get more spawners up there to really make this effective. I just want to make sure I'm not surpassing the mob cap so that the spawners continue to spawn. So there's only 2 up there right now. I'm going to need some more soul jars so that I can get some more spawners to add. I'd like to have at least 4 up there at minimum, and make sure that they're high enough so that the mob cap doesn't come into play. The first spawner is 3 blocks above that stone right there. Actually, I think it's above this one. So the mob cap should be safe as they fall, and I'm using water to push them so they start taking a little bit of damage before they get down here. This guy's being aggressive and he's shooting at me. Now I do have fire spread off and fire damage off. This building was just too nice to have blaze tear it up, so we did make sure that those were off. So while we're getting our 645 levels of experience, there's our infernal dust. I don't have enough to send it through yet, and we've gotten some rods. So we'll come back, because I'm going to take those blaze rods with me, because I do need them from time to time, especially when I'm making sword beheadings. Ooh, I don't want to show that building. I almost did. Can we still navigate through here? Yeah. All right. We made it. So while that's still in the process, I want to kind of go back through the guide here for a little bit. And I think I want to take a stab at the liquid. We got to craft up all 6 of these machines, well, 5 of the machines. Now, there was a major update to liquid. The dev made some changes to the recipes, because some other people saw what I saw when we started drooling and say, oh my gosh, this is insanely cheap. And a bunch of recipes were nixed and altered. So for example, the reinforced alloy ingot, while it's still cheaper, molten copper, aluminum, down to 12 karat gold, steel, lead, and hardened metal, you still get 3 alloys out of that. You need all of this, plus Corinthian bronze, duralumin, and 24 karat gold. 1 of each of those gets you 1. So this is still cheaper. But the other one that was over here, when it was magnesium and salt, I believe, to get me redstone alloy, he wisely pulled that one out. So it's now hardened metal and redstone dust. So it is still cheaper. We're not having to craft ferrosilicon, and we don't need redstone blocks, although I've actually had to throw them in the trash. I have 6,400 redstone blocks right now. Insane. Down the road, we're going to need more, but for now, it's insane. So it's still cheaper. So I think I want to start crafting up some of these machines, and I believe, yeah, because we're going to put light expansion upstairs. So we've got the room to start building some of these. So they're not all that expensive. 8 coils in a Crucible 3. 8 cooling units and a freezer. Oh, I got to waste XP on a freezer. Oh, no. Oh, the price you pay for not thinking far enough into the future. 4 carbonados, a melter. So we got to make really 2 melters. Dang. All right. Centrifuge means we need a dust. Now, dust washer 3s, I've got one lying around, so we can grab those. And the crystallizer. So we need a second solidifier. So we need 2 solidifiers, 2 mixers, and then we can make, 2 melters. 2 melters to 2 solidifiers, because then we can make the mixer, and then we can make the crystallizer. The centrifuge is the dust level washer 3, which we already have. So I'm going to cry. I have to waste how many levels to unlock freezer 2? Oh, let's see. That's an electricity. That's heated pressure chamber. Oh, 29 levels. Goodbye. That hurt. It's taken me 12 hours just to get to 86 levels. Good thing is the cactus farm has been running uninterrupted for about an hour and a half. Would be a lot higher, except yours truly did something really stupid. I walked away from the cactus farm while in survival mode, and yeah, I walked away from my computer for about 20 minutes. My zombie friends came to see me when I wasn't ready and took advantage of the situation. Otherwise, it probably would have been at about 120, 130. It would have been really close. I probably would have stayed there until I hit 150. So let's get crafting. So we finally got all 5 machines built. And I got to tell you, I've been testing a little bit. And I have slag. I don't know what the hell to do with it. I can make molten slag and I can solidify it. But I don't know what the hell to do with it. There's still nothing in the guide that tells me what to do with slag. I can't find a single recipe that uses it, and I haven't necessarily found anything I can put it in to use it. I don't know if it'll work as coal because it's charcoal. I'm assuming if I put it into a furnace, a vanilla furnace, will probably recognize it as coal. I don't know. I'll have to try it, but this is one of those situations I'm going to ask the audience, does anybody know what to do with this other than melt it and re-solidify it? Now, I finally do know how you get it, and I want to thank one of the users who had mentioned that it came from the centrifuge. So I understand what it's doing there. It's no different than, for example, if you've ever watched Gold Rush, a TV series on Discovery Channel. When you mine gold, it is never 100% pure gold. There's always some metallic residue in there or something that needs to be burned off. So when they melt it, all that impurity rises to the top of the liquid gold. And that's what you would burn off. So that's what slag is kind of reminding me of, because you have to put it through a centrifuge to get rid of it. So let's walk through these machines. So the melter, let's start with aluminum. We put in aluminum ingot, we put in a bucket, and a few seconds later, we're going to get ourselves some aluminum or molten aluminum. Tell you what, let's make some aluminum bronze. This is relatively easy, right? Okay, so we're turning a aluminum ingot and a bronze ingot into molten. Now you would also need aluminum dust to make aluminum bronze ingots if you're going to do this the old-fashioned way. If we come over here to the mixer, is this the mixer? Yeah. If we put in molten bronze, molten aluminum, we are going to get ourselves 2 molten aluminum bronze. Now that makes sense that we would get 2 because you're putting in 2 lava buckets. Now it saved us the 2 extra aluminum dust. So there is some benefit to using a system. Then if we come over here to the solidifier, these are going to get turned into actual ingots. This one's a little bit slower, but still effective. So as these 2 run through, now we get our aluminum bronze ingot and we get our bucket back. So we can recycle the bucket through the system. So that's a good thing to know. And here comes our other one. Aluminum bronze number 2, bucket number 2. Now I was misunderstanding what the centrifuge did. I thought you could deconstruct any item back to its original molten lava. You can't. There are certain things that it's used for. There is a recycler block somewhere in there that will deconstruct items back into their crafted items, I believe, and I haven't tested it yet, so we'll hold off, so don't comment about that. But the centrifuge, this is where you can take the ore and throw the buckets in. Don't tell me I'm out of power by some weird chance. I literally just did this. Hang on, let's just make sure I'm not out of power. No, that didn't change anything. Why is this not going through? Okay, now I'm stumped. I just did this 5 minutes ago. Okay, well, oh, I only grabbed 2 of the buckets. I put all of them in. I put 10 in. And it grabbed only what it needed, or 11 or 12 or whatever I put in. I'm a little... Oh, I know why. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot to do something. You got to melt it first. You've got to turn it into molten redstone first. I'm sorry. So now it's still redstone ore. Okay? So we can still, it's still in the ore stage, but when we put it in the centrifuge, it's going to take all the buckets it needs right off the bat. So it grabbed 3, and now it's going to turn this into redstone dust. So 1 redstone ore is 3 redstone dust, molten-wise, plus there's our slag. However, you and I know 3 redstone out of ore is a waste. At Fortune 3, I think probably even less than that, I can get more. But diamonds, you put in diamond ore, you get 3 diamonds. Then that would go, the liquid, or the molten diamond would go into the crystallizer and turn those 3 liquid molten diamonds into actual diamonds. So there's the benefit. Lapis, same thing. It does 3 for lapis, 3 for redstone. So those are kind of a waste using it for those. But when you come back to the crystallizer, or centrifuge, excuse me, and we are spinning out, here we go. So iron gives us 3. Pretty decent. I mean, because you could turn iron ore and a grindstone into 2 dust and get ingots. Here you could get 3. Gold, same thing. 1 for 3. See, then what I should do is turn these back into ingots and send them over. No, better off just leaving it where it is. Never mind. Lapis, 3. Diamond ore, 3. Emerald ore, 3. Redstone ore, 3. So there are some benefits and some that don't make a whole lot of sense. 1 netherite. You figured, of course, yeah, that would be the one. Okay, and then the crystallizer is what we'd use. So if this were liquid or molten diamond, then it would go through here and turn into actual diamonds. Here we simply put it in a solidifier, and this will turn it into redstone dust for us. So I do want to look at setting up some of these to create some of the more difficult, costly ingots that are a challenge to keep up with. We've got a decent supply of redstone alloy ingots, but I need to make some serious capacitors now. I mean, I've got 211, but it's taken like a week to get it. And I want to try to speed this up because even though I built that celestial panel, at nighttime, I'm actually running out of power. I'm actually going negative by about 5K by the time it drains down. So I need to get some capacitors in there. So by the end of the night, I still have power running through all of my machines. I probably have 45 or 50 of these energy connectors in there, and I need to update them to capacitors. And I've got a couple of options. I can put a bunch of the carbonado capacitors in. Where are we here? Why am I missing the capacitors? I don't see them. Oh, here we go. Different texture pack that I'm used to. I mean, that's a pretty fair amount, 64,000 joules or 65,000 joules. But what if I just could make one of these? Think about it. If I were to stick a couple of these in, that'd be great. But if I stick one of these in or more and to make them, it's not that much more expensive than it is a carbonado. Once I'm to the carbonado, I need 4 more carbonados and 2 more nether stars, and you've seen how cheap we can get nether stars. And oh, by the way, if I want to make carbonados, here, compressed carbon. Ready for this? 2,155 compressed carbon. We can make carbonados all dang day. So I think we're going to look at that energized capacitor and stick about 10 of those or more into the system. And there is where we start building up for void. That starts moving us in direction for void a whole lot faster. So that'll be something down the road. But I wanted to set this up and show you guys how this works. So I'm going to take these just for one ingot setup to start with, and then we'll see if we want to expand. So let me get that set up and I'll be back. You are not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. I set this up for hardened steel because I need to make a lot of reinforced ingots, and in order to do that you need a lot of hardened steel. What we've done is we've hooked each one of these up to come in on channel 2 that you need. And it's weird. It's nothing. The recipe is so insanely cheap. It's zinc, copper, aluminum, and steel to make hardened metal. That's crazy. It's normally Damascus, aluminum, bronze, Damascus, aluminum, bronze, compressed carbon, and oh, I forget, what is it? Duralumin to make hardened metal. How many resources am I not using, and how many I had sitting lying around doing absolutely nothing but going into the trash can are now making hardened metal. So they all come in on channel 2, which is where they get stored in the fluffy barrels. They all come out on 6 as their molten forms, come up to this mixer, and they mix, because it's 4 buckets coming together. It gives you 4 molten hardened metal. And then we stick them up to the solidifier, which turns them into the ingots, sends them out to the smelteries and the fluffy barrels, and the buckets get evenly redistributed back here. Now make sure when you set this up, fill all of these with one side of buckets, wait till the system gets running, and then retop them off. I put 16 in each one of them. But this system had 64 plus a 13 here, plus it had 3 here. So that was 80. The odds fell, and wouldn't you know it, that this one ran out of buckets. So I had ingots on both sides. So I refilled all 4 back to 16, started running the system until I could fill all 16 back up again. So now I have 80 buckets in there. So no matter what, the buckets will always have to be balanced out at 16. They'll have nowhere else to go. The danger is running out of ingots, so make sure your ingot production, especially steel, can handle it, that you're producing enough so that that never runs out, because if it does, you'll have buckets on both sides. Initially, I rated this plug-in, I think, at about a 1 or a 1.5, and I definitely need to up that to probably, in the terms of being OP. The dev has dramatically reduced the power of these recipes, and I think it still might be a little bit OP. So now that I clearly understand how the liquid plug-in functions and what it can do, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it about an 8.5. The only reason it's not higher is because no one knows what slag is. Well, we know how to get it. We discovered how to get it. But I can't find any use for it. I haven't seen it in any of the liquid recipes. I think it's similar to charcoal because it's got the texture of charcoal. So I'll make a couple and I'll put it in a furnace and see if it runs as charcoal. I'm not expecting it to, but it might. So if anybody can tell me one recipe that you can use slag for, you can come on my private server and I'll give you a stack of hardened steel. Just kidding. I'd really like to know, because I can't find anything on it. It's clearly a side effect of the impurities in the ore when the ore is melted, but I don't know what to do with it. I can't find any legitimate use. So if anybody knows, please tell me in the comments. But I do want to thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I love your comments. I love some of the conversations that are going on. I think there's some really good bantering going back and forth. I think we're all learning, including me. I'm learning just as much as we go through this, hopefully, as you are. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And as always, when we play Minecraft, you've got to go boomer or you got to go home. We'll see you later.